right from when the 6-week-long trial between Johnny Depp and his estranged wife started, with fans hearing the tales of both sides. A lot of people chose to stay on Depp's side of the fence. And now, over a week after the verdict was given in Johnny's favor, it was revealed that the actor might actually still be helping Amber. So, exactly what has Johnny pulled that has started a whole new movement in his favor again? We all know Johnny has always been one of the biggest celebrities of our time. And while the trial did make him even more famous, his name seems to be the talk of the town again, as reports are stating that the actor may actually not be taking Amber's money. You're probably thinking it would be completely crazy to turn down over $10 million. Well, that's kind of what Johnny might be leaning towards. It all started a couple of days back when Johnny's attorneys, Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu, appeared in their first interview since the verdict was read, which was pretty surprising to most people given that several other networks had announced that they had rejected to be interviewed. While they were on the interview, they spoke about a lot of things relating to the trial, right from the way Johnny reacted after being told he had won, to their thoughts on some of the statements that have been made by Amber's lawyer in several interviews. From the way they described things in their own perspective, it was pretty obvious that they knew Amber and her people were just trying to garner pity and affection about their loss from the people. But amid all of this, they also talked about a sensitive aspect, and that was on Elaine admitting on live TV that Amber would be appealing the judgment that was passed by the jury because she will be unable to pay Johnny the amount in damages that was awarded. Now, this is where things went crazy. While talking about it on the show, the presenter asked if they had plans in the works for a settlement to be involved either now or in the future, where Amber and her people dropped their rights to appeal in exchange for Johnny waiving the $10 million damages she's supposed to pay him. And although Camille and Ben didn't actually confirm or deny anything about that, their body language was pretty self-explanatory.
She doesn't have the money to pay for the judgment, and you all have said that the goal is not to impoverish Ms. Heard. Is it possible where we could see a settlement where she forgoes the appeal in return for Mr. Depp waiving any monetary damages?
Well, George, we obviously can't disclose attorney-client communications, but as Mr. Depp testified and as we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about money for Mr. Depp. So this was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that.
So you're not disclosing any privileges, but it sounds like that's something that could be on the table, but it's up to Ms. Heard?
Again, we have to be careful what we say, but this was about Mr. Depp's reputation. That was what it was about for him.
Apart from what Ben said on the show, Johnny has actually repeatedly stated right from the start that none of this whole thing was about the money for him, and he has a point because Amber's defamatory op-ed basically ruined his life, put him out of work, and made the general public see him as nothing more than a wife beater. Now, you would expect that someone that had been put through so much because of something he didn't actually do would be totally angry and want nothing short of payback. But it is actually the opposite here, which is why the settlement claims are shocking to so many people. Besides the obvious fact that Amber is incapable of paying that money, not because she doesn't want to, but the amount that was awarded to Johnny is actually more than 2 times her net worth, implying she'd have to move mountains to be able to pay even half of it. Now, Johnny entertaining the idea of waiving that money for her rights to appeal isn't necessarily because he and his team aren't sure they will win. In fact, if you watched the interview, you'd know that Johnny's lawyer aren't actually scared of Elaine's claims in any way. But the thing about appeal cases is that they take time, which could drag on from a few weeks to several years. And the thing about this drag is that it would only affect Amber because not only is Johnny immensely wealthier than her, he is actually back on top of the food chain, and he hasn't even gone back to acting yet. But other aspects of his life, such as his new NFT collection, which has skyrocketed in prices since his win, and his signature Dior perfume becoming the 2nd most popular fragrance in the world, have earned him quite a chunk of money. Besides these, Johnny is actually on his way to getting back to the big screens. But the same cannot be said about Amber, as virtually everyone in the industry has dropped her. With this, he really has nothing to gain by settling, and this is why a lot of fans are going crazy about his people hinting that he might let the money go. On that note, this fan wrote, "Boss move by Depp to not want any money from Amber Heard. It also shows that he's a good dude, and it was never about the money. He wanted his name cleared." Another user made things more focused on Amber and less about Johnny, saying, "I think that Amber doesn't need any more punishment. I think having to deal with the aftermath of this whole thing is enough. One thing is to want justice for her wrongdoings, which exposing her was enough, and another one is to be ruthless and try to leave her destitute." Someone else with a totally different point of view wrote, "I think after the statement regarding the money, he continued that it was about clearing his name." Carefully chosen words. I am of the opinion that this is not quite over. There is the UK verdict and additionally the NDA following the divorce, which in essence H breached. Well, whatever the case may be, we'll find out exactly what Johnny plans to do soon enough, but until then, we'll just have to make do with speculations from his camp. How about you? Do you think Johnny should let the money go, or do you believe Amber needs to pay for her crimes?